For anybody living in the national capital, the story really is the same every single year. Post Diwali, we have the same challenges. It's difficult for us to breathe. There is a thick blanket of smog. We see an increase in respiratory illness. And this, of course, is fueled by stubble burning as well, and a complete violation of the so called tracker ban that was in place. And this time around, as I said, the story is not any different because we saw what happened yesterday. At one point in Delhi, the AQI reached the level of 999. If you look at the limit that has been allowed with the WHO, the out limit is 25. So you multiply that and see what is the kind of toxicity that we are breathing in. What are the real reasons behind this? What are the problems? What are the kind of challenges that we're seeing as far as the health crisis is concerned? And what is the way ahead? To talk about all of this, I have with me Dr. Arnesh Kumar. He's a pulmonologist. We'll also shortly be joined by Mr. Sundarajan, who's an environmentalist, to understand what really can we do to try and somewhat contain the situation. But Dr. Arnesh, I want to first begin with you. Thank you for taking our time for us. As I said, this is a problem that we face every single year. This is nothing new for people who've been living in the national capital. But this time around, the problems are many. One, the stubble burning becomes a perennial problem. You have a violation of the tracker ban, but we're also in the middle of a pandemic. First, talk to us in the last 1 week or so, ever since we started seeing, the run up to Diwali. Have we already seen a rise in cases as far as respiratory challenges are concerned?
Good morning to you, Ridhima, and thank you for having me on your show. Yes, answer to your question is yes. We are seeing the spike in the numbers, and they include patients who had previous chronic respiratory diseases, and that has flared up. As well as I have got a couple of patients who are inpatient at the moment. They are admitted in the hospital with the breathing issues, and they never had any such problem in the past. So not only pollution is having impact on the patients with chronic respiratory disease, also it is impacting on people who are otherwise hale and hearty with no previous respiratory or other comorbidities. So I think it's a high time that every time after Diwali, I remember doing this show again last time round, suddenly we wake up with, because these AQIs touch, as you rightly said, 900 and all. We always expect this to happen during this time round. And these are multifactorial reason for this. And one of them is stubble burning, as you just said. Diwali, of course, the bursting crackers adds to the problem. I don't think it is a sole problem, but it adds to the problem. And on top of that, this winter, because the temperature goes down, because of the presence of dew and fog in the atmosphere, our atmosphere becomes a glass chamber. So whatever we emit, whatever the little pollution which is produced by the other automobile or crackers or stubble burnings, all whatever that we do, it remains in our environment and it keeps on recirculating. And that's why this compounds. So we can't change the timing of the Diwali. Of course, it will always happen in November. What we can do, though, is to have a concerted effort involving all the stakeholders, how we can change. I mean, I'm not saying that we should, Diwali and crackers have been there for a long time. So it's not like something new. But then is there something we can change our practices? We can bring technology in so that the stubble burning goes away completely by incentivizing the farmers. And then, plan for this, because AQI, remember, 900 at one time for 5 days doesn't harm your lung. But AQI of 300, which is there for 6 months, harms you more than what AQI of 900 does in 7 days. So we should take that in the context that we are going through, we are in an environment which has got an AQI perennially. It's always high. Yeah. It has never been normal.
Absolutely. That our AQI never is in the good or, the safe category. And the problem only escalates during the Diwali time. So the problem and even the repercussions that we'll then see will not be immediate, but you'll see it over a longer period of time. Dr. Arnesh, I want to understand what are the kind of health hazards that we are facing? Because, and I'm talking from personal experience, as a young child who grew up in the national capital, I spent half my years at the doctor because I just couldn't breathe. I would have wheezing issues. I want to understand the impact, especially on, young children, the vulnerable population, and people who do have, maybe terminal illness. How difficult does it make for their recovery as well?
So as we say in the AQI, there is something called PM 2.5. This is the particle size of less than 2.5 micron, which goes into when you breathe your air in. So it goes into the lungs, and it can go into the smaller capillaries beyond it. It cannot be stopped by the bristles in the nose. It cannot be stopped by the defense mechanism in our
Dr. Arnesh, you've muted yourself.
particles. Am I audible?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So as these particles we inhale in, they incite an inflammatory reaction, leading to the spasm. The airway caliber goes down, and the wheeze is the most common symptoms you notice. Apart from this, there's an increased secretion in your lungs, so that you bring the sputum out a lot. Eye is another organ which is affected. Nose is another organ which is affected. And most of the time, if this happens in people who already have got this chronic disease before, such as asthma, or as you just said, somebody having a childhood asthma, or adult patients, somebody has a bronchiectasis or COPD. These are the name of the lung diseases which people can have. They get exacerbated because of this pollutants, and ultimately get all these symptoms, leading to hospitalization, sometimes leading to OPD visits. So one of the common things we are seeing in OPDs these days is the flare-up of these symptoms in these patients.
Okay. Dr. Arnesh, now I want to understand, we've understood what the problem is. I want to understand what is the way ahead, what are the solutions. Now, I know a lot of us really talk about, air purifiers, but that's a big privilege that we're talking about. How many of us can afford to leave our jobs, sit inside our houses, close our doors, and have an air purifier? People have to work out, they have to step outside their houses. What is the way ahead? What is the best way of protecting ourselves? Because as I said, this problem is a yearly problem for all of us. It's not going away anytime soon till the time there are big policy changes that are taken. But for the common man, for people like me and you, what can we do?
So answer to your question is, perhaps let us take, everybody is a stakeholder, because it's the air we are talking about. We all need to breathe. And I agree that this is not a one-point solution of some sort. It's a complex problem. We all know that.
Yeah.
And it's because it's coming from all. What we can do personally, I think we have to step out of the house. But if you can, when it is an extreme, so remember 500, 600, our lung is not designed to cope with AQI of 500.
Yeah.
So you are going to get problems. I think if it's possible, stay inside the home. I mean, that's what I know it's difficult, but that's what you should do if you can. If you have to venture out, try and avoid direct contact with the environment by putting a mask on. Remember, we have been using masks for the viruses. Here, we are not saying cotton mask won't do. I think you have to have an N95 mask, because that's one which can block the pollutants coming in. And I think if those who exercise outside, outdoor exercises, you should avoid it during the extreme periods. Particularly, this is not the time you want to exercise yourself. And, keep yourself hydrated, have a good nutritious food, and be compliant with the medications which you are already on. Because that's one thing I always say, people having a chronic diseases of any sort, be it cardiac, be it respiratory, you have to be compliant to your medication, because this pollution can strike your any other organ system as well during that time.
Yeah.
And to avoid the flare up, you should have that maintenance treatment on board.
Okay. Dr. Arnesh, my other big concern is, as I said when I started, that we're still in the middle of a pandemic, which means a lot of patients were still recovering, especially patients who had long COVID, had a very, very difficult journey to recover. What is the kind of impact that this kind of smog, this kind of toxicity can have on their recovery?
Right. Very good question. I think we were talking about this in the winter when it came in, that there are some reports saying that the virus can also be entrapped in the dew, the droplet which forms because of the low temperature and the dew settling in. So there is a theoretical risk of COVID infection, if at all, can go up because of the fog itself. Because we are living in a gas chamber at the moment where there is no exit upstairs. Upstairs is blocked completely, and we are in a glass chamber. Whatever we emit, which includes the bugs, which includes the virus, remember, can also theoretically recirculating in our environment. So it's a high time that people who had a COVID get themselves vaccinated. If they are vaccinated, still use the COVID appropriate behavior, because
Doctor, you've muted yourself. You could unmute yourself, please.
I know.
Yeah,
Am
now
I audible?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's important that we keep heed to this advice because it will prevent the new COVID infection as well as getting the pollution related problems. So both. So those who have a COVID related issues like post COVID sequelae in the lungs or other organs, take extra precaution during these times. Again, try not to venture out during the peak of the times. Avoid outdoor exposures. But if you have to be outside, please wear mask, and I would recommend here N95 mask.
Okay, I think that's a very important piece of word and advice that's coming in from the doctor, that if you're somebody who falls under this vulnerable category, somebody who's had COVID in the past, this is not the time to let your guard down. You have to be even more cautious as far as you stepping out. So an N95 mask is what the doctor is recommending. And for the rest of us, we have to live with it as we've learned to live with the virus, but we also have to not let our guard down and continue to be extremely precautions. I will leave the conversation there. Dr. Arnesh, thank you so much for helping us, really talk about the way ahead and how we can protect ourselves till the time we see some big policy changes as far as this toxic gas chamber that we're living in the national capital. We'd love to hear from you. Do write into us. We always love to hear your views and suggestions. For now, it's a wrap from my side. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Lydia. Thank you.